this panel of advocates that I call the street team, we've had a chance to pretty much dissect those testimonies, both the 5th and the 14th. And I'd like to give the panel an opportunity to hone in on what they perceived from these testimonies. And I'd like to start with Serge. Serge, I'd like for you to give us your perspective as it has to do with transparency in DC.
Thank you, Ms. Zeilinger and Councilman Wells, for coming to the mission. And it's an honor to talk to you about the issues concerning homelessness and also housing for homelessness. Councilman Wells, I want to express my also shared concern with you about a growing lack of transparency and miscommunication, to use your words, about the budgeting process and even just policies that are being set to help the homeless population within the district. And I do share your assessment also that whatever might have been said, might have been done about the budget, things did not necessarily work out and there was a major misunderstanding. My major cause for concern is I was listening to the tapes of the council meeting, and I know that the DHS had, Mr. Carter, had offered the creation of a post of the ombudsman for as a liaison for the district. For those who do not fully understand what an ombudsman is, it is a liaison. And I did do some research on it, and I found that the ombudsman is something he or she explains and examines concerns and complaints from outside the institutions, thus avoiding conflicts of interest inherent in self-policing. However, this is one of my major concerns is the ombudsman system relies heavily on the selection of an appropriate individual for the office and on the cooperation of at least some effective official from within the apparatus of the institutions. My concern is that can this ombudsman position be appointed with the input of an activist, homeless activist, or be a homeless activist, and if not that, be a professional that is impartial, that everyone can respect within the process between government, the public, the council, and also the people. I offer you a solution. I think that the ombudsman should be accessible to all parties, not necessarily just to one and not the other, and should also answer to the council. The council should know what an ombudsman does at all times, just as much as the DHS head should know what the ombudsman does as well. It's a win-win for all. I also believe that once the recommendations by the ombudsman are made, that they are respected and that they are followed, unless there's a very good reason as to why what the ombudsman does recommend should not be followed. And again, I do believe that that ombudsman should speak with the activists, should speak with the public as well. And those are my concerns, and I'm sure that you and your fellow council members, in addition to the people at DHS, share those concerns as well.
If I can speak to that briefly, Steve.
Oh, go ahead, Councilman.
Well, first let me say I really appreciate and I'm impressed that you've taken the time to go through and listen to these hearings. That's what they're for. And the role of the hearings, the council, and your role, that what you bring up is that there is a very special covenant between the government, people they serve, including the people who pay for our government. And that covenant is only nurtured and maintained through transparency, trust, and that what we say is our word. And so whether it be through an ombudsman's office or it be through the council's oversight or through elections, that it's all about maintaining that covenant with you, Serge, and with everyone in this room that we serve, and that we say we're going to do this, we're going to fund this, and then we've got to do it. And so our words have to match our actions. And so I'm very pleased to hear that you're going through our hearings.
And we'll get a chance to discuss that a little more a little later when we get into our discussion. Right now, I would like to go to Eric Sheptalk. And Eric, maybe you can give us your perspective on accountability in the district.
Sure. Accountability. Well, check this out. Now, we have in January, we counted 6,220 homeless people here in the district, okay? And the numbers have been increasing due to the economic downturn. And very recently, we almost lost 1,900 shelter beds. Okay, well, as it turns out, last year, we spent $50 million on homeless services. And this year, the budget got cut down to $38 million. And long story short, to keep it simple, we have 3 programs running up $38 million, and then you get $12 million more. You create a 4th program that it turns out that was $12 million for a one-time funding stream, and that stream gets cut off. Now you have 2 choices basically. Either you can run the 4 programs at 3/4 of the capacity, or you can cut out that 4th program that was created with that one-time funding stream. And so I want to call into account on why it is that you would create an ongoing program with a one-time funding stream that you know you're not going to get in the next year, okay? And then also, there's this concern from the homeless community that what's going to happen is that, you know, we saved the shelters this time around, and we're going to spend too much money on the hypothermia season, and then come springtime, they're going to be talking again about budget shortfalls, and there's going to be this threat of shutting down the shelters. And what else stood out to me in this whole debacle is that Catholic Charities more or less has a monopoly on the shelters, because when they came and they testified and they said, hey, look, you're cutting 1/3 of my budget, so if I can't do everything I used to do, if I can't have these robust services, these wraparound services, I'm going to shut down entirely. Okay, and when they said that, it caused DC government to scramble. They got scared, and I mean, they scrambled to find $11 million, and thank God they found it, and the shelters have now been saved. But why would you let them get into this debacle where first of all, they have a monopoly, and then secondly, you know, when spring comes, are we going to have the same fight all over again? That's what I want to know.
Thank you, Eric. You know, you raised some interesting points there that I'm sure that Councilman Wells and Ms. Zallinger will address in a second. But right now, I'd like to go to Skip on your perspective on the district's services and housing.
Hello, Lord. It's always nice to see you. Mr. Wells, welcome. First, I wasn't sure if you were in homeless people when you first took over the council. But now, the last few months, you're doing a good job. We appreciate that. I got a concern about transparency dealing with the availability of housing in the district. We want to empty the shelters out, but we'll never really empty the shelters out. We want to bring them down and let the emergency shelters do what they were really supposed to do. We want to open up CRFs for people who need that type of service, SROs for people who are more stable out there, so then they can all move into permanent supportive housing, get their jobs, and then we'll take away that permanent supportive housing, and they'll have their own place. Now, I also chair co-host. We've been concerned about this for a very, very long time. But the problem is, every time we ask the district about what's available, what can we use, we can't get an answer. Now, we don't want big old shelter, big old places like New York Avenue and CC&D. We want little small places that can blend in the community, 10 people maybe, in an SRO or CRF, with services coming in to take care of them, get them back, get them stabilized, so they can go back and get into society and contribute. So, I'm just wondering, is there any way that we can force the current administration to take the translucency away, wipe off the windows so we can see through the transparency, so that we can see what's out there, so we can come to you not screaming, but come to you and say, we have this over here, can you do something with this? We'd like to move these people over here. We want to cut out. Homelessness will never end. It's alpha and omega. There'll always be a need for emergency shelter. But you know, and I know, that if we get, the more people we can house, the less burden it's going to be on the finances of the government.